Are you ready? Today, we're diving into a super mysterious disappearance case. Unable to find his sister, the doctor had just called for help when he saw Uncle N in the room, like a corner cockroach. Uncle N was giving himself a motivational wall bang, and when the doctor called, it was like he was completely tuned out. Everyone else was confused. After a while, Uncle N turned around with a knife in hand, as if he was getting ready for a knife dance. He gave his face a little dance, and next thing you know, he was rushed to the hospital for some emergency beauty treatment, but medication and psychological evaluations didn't help. Instead, he was evolving into a monster every day. It was like some invisible thing was slowly turning his consciousness into Swiss cheese. At that moment, Banyu played another video showing two guards at his home, like bears just awake. At first glance, nothing seemed weird, but the chief pointed out a mysterious tattoo behind one man's ear that looked like a flower. Banyu looked at the tattoo, wondering what flower it could be, as Father Mark started telling the doctor about Joseph's story. Joseph was Banyu's old friend from the orphanage, and together they grew up, with Banyu having superhuman strength like Superman. Joseph, on the other hand, was a rare exorcist captain, able to kick out the demons like they were footballs. Unfortunately, due to this ability, Joseph was isolated as a child, with Banyu always protecting him like a guardian. As time passed, Joseph became a real exorcist priest, while Banyu was stuck in the underworld making a living. Every Christmas, Banyu would visit friends, but 15 years ago, that fateful Christmas night, everything went up in flames. Joseph accidentally summoned the demon Lucifer during a ritual, and the nuns and kids were wiped out in an instant. Ironically, Banyu managed to survive miraculously. Yet he was overwhelmed by an endless mountain of guilt and hatred. He hated himself for not being able to protect the kids, and also hated his brother for screwing everything up. Talk about a comedy of errors. On Christmas Eve, Banyu made a call to summon him to the office to kick off the exorcism. This time, leading the way was Sharon, a seasoned exorcist who had encountered countless demons, a total pro, and his assistant, who was already used to working on the edge of death, had a good grip on demon workouts. Before the ritual began, Banyu explained that the situation was quite dire. Once the exorcism started, Uncle N's demon might come out to play, and those lurking believers on Earth might also join the party, giving him a serious headache. His job was to ensure everyone's safety amid the chaos, and it turned into a life or death referee job. Uncle N's sister was like, who cares? She just wanted to save her sister and was all pumped up. After analysis, it was clear that Uncle N was indeed possessed by a demon. It was no mental illness. He was under complete control. Clearly someone was using Uncle N as a pawn to summon some major demon. Not to mention those stealthy disciples, moving quietly like stealthy monkeys. Only after they were discovered would they leave some marks akin to a demon's call. Their goal was to spread evil, obedience to demons, all for the sake of cash. However, some were trained as guardians, ready to battle the enemy like an army. They had long lost their human traits, turning into pure demons while managing the believer networks. Behind it all, which major demon was pulling the strings? It's also mysterious. Geo Lion decided to contact Uncle N directly, trying to awaken his remaining consciousness. He softly called his name, trying to connect Uncle N back to reality, but Uncle N just weakly responded. There was a voice inside him talking, but he didn't know who it was, just that he couldn't speak it out loud. Speaking it out loud might lead to scary consequences, so Geo Lion tried to communicate with the presence. However, Uncle N fiercely resisted, believing that having a conversation with that voice would bring about something terrifying. After a brief silence, Geo Lion placed his hand on Uncle N's head like he was charging him up. He asked for the name, and Uncle N strained against it, only to be taken over by the demon. The demon erupted into mad laughter and started spinning like it was having a blast. Boroba charged in, the front line becoming a total mess as the lights began to flicker. The demon floated in the air, mumbling in ancient languages, while Boroba was utterly baffled. They quickly adjusted the surveillance footage and realized Uncle N tried to make a run for it during the chaos. The patients flooded out like a high tide, surrounding them directly like a flock of crows. Robo fought hard to carve a path for his companions, giving them a chance to escape. Uncle N's sister chased after, frantically shouting her sister's name. Uncle N turned around and exclaimed, trembling, "It's terrifying." In the midst of chaos, Uncle N had already sunk into a deep slumber. They must return to that old house immediately, where all the tragedies began. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe. See you next time.